Mouvement.
Change.
Cinéma.
Création.
Action.
Gender equality.
Feminism.
Indépendance.
Engagement.
Parité.
Role model.
Représentation.
Sororité.
Mindset.
Empowerment. Episode 3. Salma Hayek.
Women in motion.
It's been 5 years since Women in Motion, a program initiated by Caring, launched in partnership with the Cannes Film Festival. Its mission is to promote equality between the sexes and to shine a light on the contribution of women directors and actors to the world of cinema by giving them a platform. So many women have come forward to tell their story, talk about their journey, and share their vision of the silver screen. Since 2015, 50 talks have been organized. Today, to celebrate the 5th anniversary, we want to take you back to revisit 5 foundational talks. After Agnès Varda and Jodie Foster, for this 3rd episode, let's check in with Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek-Pinault is an actress, of course. She's been in several dozen movies and worked with high-caliber directors like Oliver Stone, Mateo Garrone, Alex de la Iglesia. She's lent her star power to blockbusters, of course, but also art house films like Americano by Mathieu Demy. Her versatile and diverse filmography has drawn the attention of the Academy Awards. In 2003, she was nominated for an Oscar for her intense portrayal of one of her idols, the Mexican painter Frida Kahlo, in the film Frida by Julie Taymor. She's also a talented producer. The hit Ugly Betty? That was her. And a longtime activist. Over a decade ago, she threw herself into promoting the education of women and little girls across the world. She's also involved in fighting violence against women via various operations initiated by the Caring Foundation. In fact, she's on the board of directors. But above all, Salma Hayek is a woman of rare determination. Throughout her career, she slammed into the infamous glass ceiling over and over again. What's interesting is to observe how she's dealt with the obstacles and discrimination barring her path. At times, and when necessary, she's skirted around them intelligently. But she's also confronted them head-on and with all her might by speaking up and sharing her experience publicly. On November 13th, 2017, a month after the Weinstein affair broke out and Alyssa Milano reactivated the hashtag #MeToo, she penned a long opinion piece in the New York Times. A piece she wrote in one sitting called "Harvey Weinstein is my monster too." In the article, she describes in detail the years of harassment and death threats she received from the American producer during the production of Frida at the beginning of the 2000s. It's a strong piece and a necessary reminder that each story is important. Aggregated with others, it can bring tremendous change and even the evolution of mindsets. She ends the text by saying, "Women are talking today because, in this new era, we finally can."
Change has come.
I think that now the change has happened because it's made people begin to think different, especially begin to ask the right questions, everyone, to themselves, and noticing the things that became normality in the past, that we went into an inertia of acceptance, and now we are looking at them with a fresh eye, and the conversation is so important and it needs to continue to happen. But I think what has to happen mostly now is not just think about it and talk about it. It is very important that it doesn't become a political rhetoric, like something we talk about and we whine about and we complain about and we're indignated about. Let's not waste a lot of time on this. Now this is the time for action. You have to be impatient and patient at the same time. You know, you have to continue the pressure, but you have to understand that you cannot lose 20 kilos in one day. It is a very sad reality. We should have come together sooner, but it's okay. Let's not look back. We're together now.
The movie world is still very much a man's world. In the US, between 2007 and 2016, only 4% of directors were female, and 80% of those got the chance to make only one film. According to Salma Hayek, change is a slow process, but it's on the way.
I'm also a producer, and this year I've sold 4 television shows, and they're all about women. Everybody's looking for that. I can't find enough female writers and directors because the industry is going to take some time to catch up. So they are green because they had not been given the opportunities, but they're all busy. The good news is that the newer generation, I think you can see there is a big difference because it's almost 50-50. I'm going to say as an average, depending on the country, the women and men that are going to university to be filmmakers. I think it's all happening in not evenly, but it's happening everywhere.
Equal pay.
On May 12, 2018, at the Cannes Film Festival, Salma Hayek took part in a historic event. She participated in a red carpet protest accompanied by 81 other women from the movie industry. It was a symbolic protest, as 82 represents the number of female filmmakers who have been selected to compete at Cannes since the first edition of the film festival in 1946. In the same period, 1,688 male directors have been selected. Among the women, filmmaker Agnès Varda, who has since passed away, made a statement alongside Cate Blanchett, who was the president of the jury. "We demand equality and true diversity in our professional environments," said Varda, pointing to one of the main and concrete levers of change, the implementation of real equal pay.
I think there is a faster change in the inclusion of women than it is in the equal pay. The equal pay, it's taking longer, and that's where we need to be more aggressive. We need to all start adjusting and work together. But also the actors have to work together, because if the male actors are asking for such big numbers that part of it belonged a little bit to the women, and in the past it was never given, and the movie doesn't get done because they cannot pay the actors what they were making and the women what the actors that were inflated were making, it's not just the producers. The actors have to say, okay, time's up. I had a good run, but now it's time to also be generous with the actresses in the films, because I also feel for the producers, because I'm a producer too.
To give you an idea, Emma Stone, who in 2017 was the best paid actress in the world, would only have come in 15th place on the Forbes list of best paid actors if the ranking was mixed. These inequalities aren't limited to actors and affect all professions linked to the silver screen. For instance, in France, a female movie maker continues to be paid 42% less than her male counterparts.
New era.
Born in Veracruz, Mexico, Salma Hayek cut her teeth acting in telenovelas. At the beginning of the 90s, she tried her chance in Hollywood. Living in LA, speaking basic English, she experienced multiple kinds of discrimination. Racism, first of all. As a Mexican, she was told that her accent sounded like that of a cleaning lady. But also sexism. She started out by using that to her advantage, embracing the stereotypes associated with women. Sex bomb. "You don't want to listen to me? Well, I bet you're going to look at me," she seemed to be saying at the time. Salma Hayek danced with a snake in Robert Rodriguez's film Desperado, and all of Hollywood got excited. But little by little, that image ended up cornering her and trapping her, depriving her of more complex roles. Fed up, she turned in part towards production and defended her own ideas of masculine and feminine. Equality, she knew, would be obtained by totally reinventing gender relations.
I think we have to focus the dialogue on the respect of human beings. It's just that women were not having the same human rights. I will dare to say the excess of violence in the world has a lot to do with the acceptance of violence against women as a generalization. So the dialogue, it's about that, and that's why I said it's exciting for men and for women. It's not about, you despicable human being, you're gonna pay now. No. It's exciting. It's exciting because it's something that we are doing together. This also helps a lot of men because peaceful men, beautiful peace, have also been victims of the bullying of men who think that their identity as a man has to do with that violence. There is a lot of men that have suffered from it too. It's a very exciting time for men now, because men have the opportunity, which is so beautiful, to rethink of what does it mean to be a man. And this comes with a lot of freedom, because they also have had burdens for a long time of what is expected for them, and confusion. And now it's a different kind of confusion and chaos, which always leads to evolution when you go at it in the right way. And so this is a new era for men. So I'm very excited because it's not just about women. It is important women so that we can be better humanity. That has to be our ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. How do we evolve as the human race?
Diversity in sorority.
Hollywood is masculine, but Hollywood is also ferociously white. More than 70% of roles are played by white people. Since 2007, the representation of Black people, Latinos, or Asians has not increased in American cinema, contrary to what's happened in TV series. Latinos, for example, have been present in only 6.2% of blockbusters in the past 10 years. As an actress, but also as a producer, Salma Hayek has been fighting for years for a better inclusion and representation of minorities, and in particular, Latinos. The struggle for rights can be contagious. As women have started breaking the silence since Time's Up and Me Too, she's noticed other stores starting to open little by little.
It is a well-known fact that if you are a woman of color, people believe in you less. Because I've been fighting for women and Latinos for a long time. If you compare how slowly it moved with the acceptance of the Latino and diversity itself, because there's other sectors that are in war situations than the Latino, so slow. Compared to what I'm seeing, the change in the effort to try to include women, it's huge, the difference. We're still struggling with, but just after the women, they were a little bit more open. They were a little bit more open to diversity. I would have never imagined this, but it's kind of like if you're close-minded, something feeds your brain and you start being a little bit open-minded, it starts opening in it's easier to open in different directions, but it's slower. But it's finally, I see that there's a change happening because there's also a lot more companies doing it. I mean, it's very palpable. There's so many places where I can bring a Latino project now. I think what's more important, instead of expecting the governments to do it on their own, it's the different communities, the different small communities women getting together in smaller cells and then connecting with the bigger ones. Like we did in the film industry, but I think like the nurses have to all get together and do it, you know? The waitresses have to, the doctors, it's like finding our little groups and sticking together and then demanding together. But we're more effective if there's many little groups than if we're just having like a generalized conversation in a big spectrum.
Little groups of women in all sectors uniting and acting together, thinking we instead of me, and calling on sorority, that value summoned by feminists in the 1970s that's making a strong comeback in our societies today. To be a sister is to thwart relations of domination and invent something else. It's to refuse to enter into rivalry and competition with other women. It's to choose to be an ally and try and hand out help and support like Salma Hayek, who to finish this podcast has a word of advice for women who would like to try their luck in the movie industry.
What I would say different than before is take a chance to be true to yourself. Don't try to make the most commercial, if you're starting out, if you're gonna do that, go to television, because I think there is a little window of opening where people are curious about what is this secret that women have that have not gotten the opportunity to share. What they wanna discover it. And we have to discover it ourselves. What is the different nuances of our voice that we want people to hear? So go to your personal experience, to your unique voice, go to find that special thing that nobody's seen to tell your story in that special way.
That brings us to the end of this third episode. I hope you enjoyed it and it made you want to react and communicate about it. Don't hesitate to share, comment, and follow us on Caring's social media. If you want to find out more, head to Women in Motion's playlist on Caring's YouTube channel, where you will find all the talks. See you soon for the next episode, this time with Aissa Maiga. We'll talk about her journey and the condition of Black actresses and more generally non-white actors in the world of cinema.
Women in motion.